I think that we have found the final boss of OnlyFans creators. Her name is Sophie Rain, and she just revealed the absolutely shocking amount of money that she has made on the platform so far. I see that she's even posted receipts to prove the truth of this. I didn't believe it at first. I thought maybe she is using shock tactics for subscribers. But here is the video where she reveals her income. It's $4 million a month.
Okay, here we go.
You're the final boss when it comes to OF, right?
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
Mm-hmm. And I know you saw the clip of Julia making $400,000 a month, so I just need to know, like, how much are you making a month?
I don't know if I don't really want to hurt your feelings. I just don't.
Hurt my feelings? What do you mean?
I don't want to.
The humble bragging.
You don't have to say, just show me.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I won't break your phone. I actually like kind of tearing up. $4 million? $4 million in a month?
Yeah.
400,000 in the last 7 days, in case you were not even, it's more than that.
Thanks.
This, I can't even be mad at you. Like, this is y'all's fault. Like, how do y'all men even have that amount of money? You have wives, children, baby mamas, bills. Women, if you're seeing this, go through your man's phone. Because $4 million a month, I promise you, you will find that link in his search history. Go to private, go to the private tab. It's right there. Sophie Rain, Spider-Man video, bot. Sick, you weird. It's weird.
Wait.
She also looks 14, so get your bag, I guess.
Thanks.
$4 million.
She was mad.
Disgusting.
Disgusting, she said. It's disgusting, but not for the reasons she thinks. Sophie Rain's OnlyFans earnings make billionaire Michael Jordan's biggest NBA check look like a joke. So that all adds up to somewhere between $43 and $48 million per year, which is insane. Owing in large part to the ultimate simp.
Yes.
Sophie Rain, I think, has the most pathetic simp on the planet, who gave her $4.7 million in the span of 11 months. This is her top spender, who goes by Charlie on the platform. He gave her basically a tenth of what she has now.
Charlie EY? Maybe Charlie's a girl.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Color me shocked.
We live in a progressive time now, guys. That could be a girl.
We do.
Yeah. Can you just imagine being that guy? Like, you just have millions upon millions of dollars just laying around and you decide to spend it on an OnlyFans page?
I think most of the time, we've talked about these situations before. They always end up being like crypto millionaires.
Must be.
Yeah.
But like, even then, it doesn't make sense to me.
Maybe Charlie just lost a bunch on Haktua coin and now can't afford it anymore.
He bought Bitcoin at like 10 cents.
Yeah.
This guy is like a multimillionaire, possibly billionaire off of crypto. He still has the self-esteem of a brokey, so he believes that the only action he can get is from an OnlyFans woman.
That's if you can afford to give that much money to an OnlyFans woman, like, you've got enough money to like go and do things in the world and be in places where you could meet people.
That's why it's so confounding to me.
Yeah.
You know, you have enough money that could impress just about any hoe out there. But you decide instead
human being
to pour millions of dollars digitally into this OnlyFans page.
Maybe he just doesn't like actual human contact.
Is this money laundering? Is this a front for illegal stuff? I don't know.
I would imagine, I do hope to any woman making this amount of money that you please pray and hire the best tax lawyer you can find to make sure that you're not going to get spanked by the government as much as you might like that.
Sophie Rain followed up this news saying, "You can call me whatever you want. I will be laughing my way to the bank."
Yep.
Heart emoji. And, you know, I don't know what she was hoping to achieve with saying this, but she followed up all of this news. She was trending because of this video coming out, people finding out how much money she's made, she decided to capitalize on that trending moment by announcing to the world that she is still a virgin. She has been on OnlyFans for just over a year, making $43 million so far at the minimum. And she claims to still be a virgin and a devout Christian.
I don't think we're gonna watch. The clip is 3 minutes long. I don't think we should even bother watching it. But she
Can
does
you do that?
Yeah.
Well, let's just see what she says. I'll tell you when to cut it off.
I don't want people thinking that I advertise to kids because that is the last thing I want.
No,
to
of
do.
course, I get that.
Yeah, I never. That was never my intention.
Pikachu's just hanging out in the background.
Thank you.
What happened was that it just like.
Hold on.
Dance break through the degeneracy.
Remember, Brett's too good to do this.
Too good to dance.
Okay, where were we? Here we go.
All right.
I watched your video. That didn't sit well with me personally because it just kept me up at night, and I really don't like that you think that
Yo,
way.
really?
'Cause
Was it that
yeah,
bad?
I don't want anyone thinking that about me. I'm a Christian. Like, I know it's like it seems odd. I'm doing what did you call it? OnlyFans? I don't do anything else with anyone on my OnlyFans. Like, it's just me. I was just trying to do social media. I've always wanted to be like an influencer. You know, I look up to all these different influencers, and I was like, I want to do that just for, shits and
Okay,
giggles.
see, the pattern continues. As I said earlier, this girl saw OnlyFans being marketed to her as a glamorous, empowering lifestyle, took the bait, and she is the one in a million chance you have of actually making it in this industry. However, no amount makes it worth it, in my view. It will leave you impoverished nonetheless on the inside.
Spiritually impoverished.
Yeah, spiritually. But this says OnlyFans star who made $43 million in 1 year says she is a devout Christian virgin. She made nearly $5 million from one individual.
That
but
collection plate better be overflowing when you go to church.
Yeah, she told YouTube streamer Kowski that she is a virgin till this day. She defended her actions because it's just her on her account. She said, I'm a Christian. I know it seems odd that I'm doing OnlyFans, but I don't do anything else with anyone on my OnlyFans. It's just me. So that somehow would make it acceptable. People were asking me yesterday, like, do you call her self-identifying as a Christian into question based on her actions? I said I don't want to start that game where I'm telling people
What is or
what they
isn't.
are or aren't, or who they are or aren't when it comes to their religious identity, because you could do that to anyone.
Yeah.
Everyone is a hypocrite in some regard. Everyone sins, and I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, that person is more of a sinner than me, so they're not a Christian and I am. I don't want to start playing that game. But what I think is likely here is she just has a very misinformed idea of what Christianity is, what it means to call yourself a Christian. And clearly the way she is defending her actions shows that. And I think she was proven to be lying about being a virgin.
Yeah.
Because I saw a community note that pointed out she already has videos up on her OnlyFans of her having sex. So she lied about this for what? To just get people to subscribe?
Well, yeah, my point was
That's
that
even
it
more
doesn't-
disgusting
It
to
doesn't
me.
even matter if it's true or not because 90% of people won't see the community note.
Of course. Right. The lie will just spread faster than the truth. And she used that as a marketing ploy because in a way that makes it more tantalizing because you're viewing something supposedly pure being defiled.
Yeah.
And the fact that that's the selling point of it all is obviously gross. It's grosser than most mainstream porn.
Yeah.
And it shows why OnlyFans is gaining traction in an era where you do have full access to any pornography you want. It's not really about what you're viewing. It's about the fantasy. It's about the idea of who this person is and that you have a special connection to them.
Yeah.
We have a 20 here from Mr. Moose Knuckle. These girls show off a boob and make millions of dollars, but when I do it, it's, sir, this is a public space. Sir, this is a Wendy's. Put your boobs away. Takes?
Pretty much everything that you just said seems about spot on. The last part especially about the lying. It's a house of cards built on an image that they try to sell to everyone in a lot of ways. And I do always, not to be callous, I do always wonder, I'm like, why that one?
Why Sophie
Rain?
Rain?
Why this one? In a sea of vagina on the internet, like why this particular person is it that makes it big? And it really is a crapshoot at best for most of them. But it is the big lie that they're not going to understand that 99.99% of them were more akin to SoundCloud rappers than they ever will be to becoming Jay-Z or Kanye West.
We have a 50 from Chris G.
Thank you.
You're focusing on what she did. The focus should be what pain that guy is dealing with to give that much money. Hi, Phil.
Hi.
I mean,
We'll never know.
The guy is. Oh, you're speaking about the Charlie
The
guy
top
specifically.
spender.
I'm like, you're like the guy, meaning like the amorphous, the royal guy.
No,
like, what are we
the
talking
top
about? Okay,
spender
the top spender.
guy.
Yeah. I mean, they should start a club.
Neither of them are victims, okay?
Yeah.
Like, they're both doing this to themselves.
He got what he paid for. He wasn't in any way defrauded.
She's
so.
not a victim. If anything, you could even argue that she was a victim of the influence this had on her before she was an adult, because she saw examples of the OnlyFans success story before she really had the judgment to decide if this was right for her. But most definitely, the guy who's giving her nearly $5 million is not a victim. He's just a simp, and he should be shamed for it. But yeah, you're right. They're more akin to SoundCloud rappers. I just saw this series of stats. 1.4 million American women on OnlyFans earn only $151 per month on average. That's
On
1.4 million American women are now creators on OnlyFans, making up a significant share of the platform's 2.1 million global creators. I'm not so sure about the user base.
It was like,
but the user base is far more globalized.
Yeah, but I think it was like what, 90 million American men. I mean, I guess men is like 90 million Americans use it, like to view stuff.
I'm pretty sure that was the global
that the
stat
global
for
number?
users,
Okay.
not just American. But the average creator earns about $150 per month.
That is unbelievably bad, and it's such like the odds are better that you're going to be a professional musician. Probably.
305.
You'd be better off becoming an actual SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah, or trying,
You would give up less.
Trying to be a regular actor.
As of May 2023, OnlyFans has 3 million registered creators and 220 million registered consumers. So no, that 90 million probably was that. Remember, that was a year ago now. So
The U.S. accounts for 22.4% of OnlyFans global web traffic, with the majority of users aged 25 to 34. So I think this is why a lot of women are getting frustrated with the conversation about OnlyFans, because they feel like all of the blame is being piled on the women who are creating this content instead of the men who are
That isn't happening in this
paying
space
for
anymore.
it.
But
Everyone in this
yeah.
space now is rightly saying, like, look, these dudes need to not
It's
do
the
this
same
if
thing
they-
as dudes that go. It's the same thing as going to strip clubs. It's the same thing as going to prostitutes. It's the same thing. It's like there wouldn't be a market if there wasn't people looking to purchase
It's
it.
almost worse. The OnlyFans thing is almost worse than those things you just listed.
Prostitution.
Because if you go to a sex shop, or you go to a video store, or if you go to a strip club, or you go to a prostitute, whatever, you're at least putting yourself in a situation where you're at risk and you're embarrassed of what you're doing and you're owning it. Your face is in front of the person you're paying, and you have to reckon with what you were doing. But the OnlyFans simp is from a distance pretending to be this woman's boyfriend, basically. And he's playing out some bizarre, sick fantasy of being her financial provider, and he is pouring all of those.
Well, the dude that spent $4 million is providing pretty
more than
lot.
providing than providing her needs. But they're pouring what would be these healthy masculine desires into something that is obviously depraved and self-destructive.
And
so you almost have to think it would be better for them to go to a strip club and pay actual women in person to pretend to like them than this shit.
Yeah.
It's almost like both are bad, obviously. I am against both, but at least one of those scenarios forces you to reckon with what you are doing. Mm-hmm. You show up with cash in your pocket, and you're like, I'm here to pay women to pretend that they like me.
There's a vastly different base of people doing those things. The people spending the money on OnlyFans are a different personality type than the person who's going to the strip club.
But overall, both of those actions are incredibly emasculating and a simulation of intimacy, basically. Thank you. I might get some heat for saying that. I don't know. But that's my controversial take.
You're probably not going to get a lot of heat here.
No?
I don't know.
And as far as this realm goes, I think a lot of that conversation has shifted, and they are now looking to the men to be like, what are you doing, bro? Like,
they are the majority of the problem here. They're the majority of people using OnlyFans and making this system possible.
Yeah.
So, get your shit together, basically.
I don't think that. I mean, whereas I think you're right that if there wasn't consumers, there wouldn't be a market. But I don't think that there's ever going to be a time where there aren't consumers. I think that's
yes. And I don't like the argument that the OnlyFans women use, where they say, "Well, the simps are out there regardless. Why don't I just take advantage of them?" Because you're not a psychopath, I would hope.
Clearly they are. If that's their attitude, then they are.
And they're like, oh, guys are going to objectify me anyways, no matter what I wear or what I do, so why don't I just make money off of it? Those are the brain-dead arguments that these women use. And I've heard it in person on the Whatever podcast. They say this shit online. They really think they did something when they say shit like that. If men are objectifying you when you're just living your everyday life wearing clothes, that's their problem. Don't make it your problem. Mm-hmm. Don't ruin your life over it. And I unfortunately see the trend is the only way to own your sexuality, the only way to get fulfillment from your sexuality is to sell it. And we will find out sooner rather than later that these women, they will regret this. They will regret this. I don't know if they will admit it publicly, but they will regret this.
I don't know. If you're like that chick that's making $43 million a year, I have a feeling she's not going to regret it.
I don't think any amount of money is enough to help you sleep at night.
I think, okay, so that was what I was going to say. Like, in a world as culturally materialistic as ours is, maybe for the 2 minutes after her head hits the pillow, she'll think about it. But other than that,
this girl has made enough money at this point where she would never have to work again in her life, nor would her children or grandchildren.
Wait a minute, has she made $43 million?
Yes.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, she probably could.
She's not doing it. Think about it. Logically, she is not doing it for the money anymore. There is something else in it for her. What do you think that is?
I think
it's not about the money.
I think that there's I don't know if that necessarily means that she's going to regret it. I just think that you have an upbringing and a moral base that's very, very different from some of these people. And however accurate I think that your assessment is of what you're saying, I don't know if the thought will even cross their head into that realm. Maybe it will, but I don't know.
Sin does make you stupid.
So I don't know.
Few think of this, but sin does make you stupid. It dulls your intellect, it dulls your judgment, and then you just continue spiraling. But I still believe reason and morality is written on the human heart, and it's at least apparent enough that what she's doing is wrong, that it will impair her ability to form relationships, to
I mean, yeah, like if you want to
feel
take
peace within herself.
the more pragmatic, cynical approach, if you want to look at it that way, and say like maybe she won't regret her actions of doing it, but perhaps when she finds it impossible to stay in a long-term relationship because people have a hard time being with someone who worked in that field, which does still happen, however progressive the world tries to portray it to be, you know, maybe there's some regret there. But again, is that idea? It's like, oh no, I can't find a husband. Let me blow my nose into this pile of money. In a materialistic culture, I don't know how far that permeates.
We have a $50 from Chris G. Oldest profession in the world, nothing wrong with not liking it, but with 8 billion people on the planet, it's going to be a thing, and some love it.
Look at the way that look at the fact that there's like 1.5 billion people in India, and look at the way that Indian men, as soon as they got the internet, the first thing they started doing was like propositioning women in the most horrible English that you can imagine. There's gonna be a market. But
the thing is, I think, Chris, what you're misinterpreting here is that I have a distaste for it rather than a moral objection to it. Because you're kind of just saying, oh, well, it's gonna happen anyways, so like fine. But like murder is gonna happen anyways. Plenty of things inevitably are going to happen because we live in a fallen world. Doesn't mean that we should just be blasé about it and let it happen with no vocal objection whatsoever.
I think for most, it's not necessarily about being blasé, but most people are just trying to get through the day and they just don't think about it that deeply, other than just like, I can't do anything about it. All I can do is focus on the impact I'm making in the world.
People don't really think about most things deeply nowadays.
True.
Like that's like whenever we have these topics, like Mary's like, so Brett, what's your take? I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of scroll past this stuff when I see it and go, that's a lot of money.
Well, that was kind of what you said about Lily Phillips.
Yeah, I look at this and I go, my first thoughts have nothing to do with her. My first thoughts are, what the hell does Charlie do for a living? That's what I want to know.
Charlie, if you're watching, we want to interview you.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.